chains. Like a cripple without his cane, a king without a crown. The passion that once consumed me.
Hello everybody, this is 5 Up, and hey, I'm back. Ducati's on the hoist, and we're going to be installing some new parts. New parts. So new parts are going to consist of getting rid of this ugly 525 OEM chain sprocket carrier, countershaft sprocket, countershaft cover, and we're going to be replacing it with all these excellent parts. So we have parts from Ducati, EK 3D, and Superlight. This is all from Manny at Moto Millions. Big shout out to Miami Manny. And we're going to start tearing into this, and I'm going to give you a little instructional video with some tools. I'll probably have to get some more out. We got our 55 millimeter here. I have my big ass torque wrench for that 55 here. That's got to be cracked loose and retorqued to over 175 foot-pounds. I forget what the Newton meters is on that, but we're going to get that all cranking, and I'm going to start getting some of this prepped. I'm going to do a little bit of chain and hub cleaning before I even take it off. So we're going to go ahead and stick this guy right up underneath there like that. Use some chain cleaner, brush it clean, dab it off so I'm not getting too dirty. As you can see, I always wear Duraflock gloves here to keep my hands clean while I'm doing this, and we are going to start some wrenching. Alright, well, hopefully this is a good angle here, and I'm going to start by doing a little bit of cleaning here on the rear hub. I typically use, what is this stuff called? It comes in a 3-pack, but this stuff right here. This stuff works pretty good. I'm almost out, so I'm going to get the hub cleaned up here a little bit. Got that sorted. Get my grunge brush ready. Nasty. So we're going to be knocking all these 12-point bolts off because we got to reuse these studs and the cush drives in the new Ducati bike assemblies. I'm not replacing cush drives yet because I just don't have enough miles on this bike to really worry about it. So. So this is going to be the tough part, and that's going to be knocking loose this hub bolt right here, or hub nut, I'm sorry. So Ducati just typically uses this little snap ring. It's on the other side also, and it's just a lock ring. You just remember whether it's on there clockwise or counterclockwise. So this one happens to be on here. This one happens to be locked on there, tab in through one of the two holes here and through the castellated part of the 55 millimeter nut. And at that point, remove this, set her in my magnetic trace so I don't lose anything. Typically, you can crack this loose with the bike just being in gear. Sometimes you might need a friend to hold the rear brake and sit on the bike and scream and give it 10 ooga-doogas. So let's see what happens here. Let's say I'm 6 foot, so this is a big ass bar here. And she cracked right loose. Nice. That is now cracked loose, and we'll get our 12 points to crack these loose so I don't have to deal with it off the bike and just trying to figure out a way to hold this in the vise. It's already held while it's on the bike, so just like loosening your lug nuts on your car before you take the wheels off, you're going to crack those loose here first. Okay, so that is a 14 millimeter 12 point. Some heavy thread locker on these for sure, which it will get. And I put it back together. Makes life a heck of a lot easier. Crack this loose right now. So also what we have to do after I get all these 14 millimeter 12 points cracked loose here, which I have them all pretty much loose. We're not reusing any of the nut hardware. That is going to be replaced by these fancy anodized red Ducati pieces here. So that'll look really nice. And to gain better access to the countershaft sprocket, I think I'm going to remove the lower fairing, which is going to allow me to do a little bit of cleaning also. So let's get that removed here, and with these fixing bolts around here and a couple underneath, and we can gain better access to the countershaft sprocket. We're going to crack that attaching bolt loose there. It's a big Allen, and after I crack that loose, then we're going to go ahead and press the chain and get the chain off of it. None of this stuff is super tight, so I like just using hand tools on it. Try to keep these little teeny tiny nylon washers here, try to keep those all in place. I had all this apart already when we did the full exhaust on it. Yuck. So here's our countershaft sprocket right here. This is OEM, original, real heavy duty. As you can see, there's the heavier spaced out stepped area right there that goes towards the gear case. New one is set up just the same. Oh my gosh, you can feel a huge difference in the weight of this, going from 525 chain pitch to 520, and then you can see they took unnecessary material out of there to make this even lighter. Nice quality piece there. Okay, so here we are. We got the whole rear heavy drive hub assembly off. And here is the eccentric here that actually can be rotated back quite some bit to give me a little more wheelbase. So I'm going to be adding wheelbase to this bike, and I'm doing it for a number of reasons, and I'm about to tell you. Okay, here we go. So we were just talking about the rear hub and the eccentric. I want to essentially get the rear hub turned back as far as possible. I want to do this for two reasons. The bike, since we've done the Bren tune, since we've done the full Acura, even strapping the front end when I'm doing roll racing, the bike is still extremely difficult to leave out of second gear at 50 to 60, even 70 mile an hour roll. So what I'm going to end up doing here is rolling this back as far as I possibly can. And it's going to have two effects. I track ride this bike. You can see the tires all chewed from being at Barber, and the bike inherently turns in too easily, too quickly. So when you're looking for your apex, when you're doing your track day, and you're coming up, let's say, to Museum is a really good one where you end up apexing a little too early. You need to pick a later spot to get your rear axle around the turn as opposed to the front. So when you're doing this, the bike turns in too easily. So the shorter the wheelbase of the bike, the more apt it is to turn in too easily. That's just the way the V4 chassis is. The 1299 was actually even worse. So this is a little bit better, a little bit more telepathic. So even though I'm going to rotate this back, get a little bit, maybe a half inch more wheelbase out of the bike, it's not going to hurt it on track, and it's only going to help it on track for my riding style, and it's only going to help it when I am tearing up 650 Ebe in his V4R. We're going to remove the push drives out of this sprocket assembly, all the parts that we need to reuse. New items here. Okay, so the rear sprocket goes on in a certain orientation also. There we go. We got the new Superlight hardened steel rear sprocket here. Lightweight aluminum drive hub. Real nice Ducati piece there. And then we got the bling, but also lighter aluminum Ducati hub carrier sprocket nuts and carrier nut, and then we're going to reuse the OEM cush drive with the stud assemblies. So let's see how this goes. We'll get some Loctite on these, get this all hand installed all together. I'll have to look up the quick torque spec on these. We're going to take my socket and wrap a little bit of painter's tape within the socket so we don't mar the anodizing on this as we are torquing it down, keeping it nice and fresh. Okay, so to very simply torque these 17 millimeter Ducati nuts here, I'm putting on the rear hub here is a big Allen. So Allen socket, just use a rag right here, and I will go ahead and just hold this in place. Kind of hard to hold the phone camera at the same time. And I'll go through and torque these to 55 Newton meters, one at a time, and this will be ready to install. Alright, here we go. Now I need to torque the drive sprocket nut here. That's 230 Newton meters. I coated my socket in some tape. Let's see how she goes. Make sure it's on there all the way. There it is. Let's see whether our holes line up. I just got the master link partially installed here. We got plenty of the O-ring grease in there, inside and out. So now all I gotta take is this outer surround piece right here, put it on the correct direction, and this EK kit does have the press for it, so I'll be able to press it on while holding the pins in place. It's very important that when you are setting up the press, that on the other end of it, we don't use the through hole press like we did to press the pins out. So if you don't support them from the back side and you start pressing against the pins, it's going to push them right back out the back side, which is disaster zone. You'll be looking frantically for another master link. So I know this because I've done it, I've been there. So we're going to go through the procedure here of installing and pressing the master link properly. Yeah, I think we'll make it right there. We're lined up. I'll be able to put my lock tab in there and I can finish putting the fairing on. So stay tuned. Okay, so you can see the difference of the peen over of the what EK has done versus our master link here. Okay, so what I'm doing is just getting an idea of our squish on our O-rings here. Let me try to get this in here and get real square so you can see that. And I want to make sure that I have now pressed the outer part of the master link on far enough, or not too far, on both sides. And here we go. They're literally the same measurement. There we go. Same. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get this tool set up with this little peener or expander. You can see it right there. And I will go ahead and hold the pin from the back side with the press properly and individually peen the end of the master link pins over so we ensure a good, solid, safe fit. And here you have it, guys. I measured the amount of peen over our master link had, So we are really, really close to what the other ones are. So we are good and tight. It appears that it still moves. You are going to have some movement out of the cush drive here. That's not uncommon at all. But we're going to rotate this chain tight. And it's going to have to stay actually very tight. Especially our first warm-up. I'll have to go a few miles down the road, come back, and retension, I'm sure. So let's rotate and get our pinch bolts back here, torque to spec, which is a new spec due to a squeaking issue of the rear hub here. So guys over at Ducati Detroit were kind enough to give me the updated torque spec for that, which is about 18 foot-pounds. Okay, here's before, after. Super nice. That looks very, very nice. I love it more because it adds performance and helps with acceleration. Alright, well, we are all finished with the 520 conversion, all the Ducati parts, the 3D chain, along with some a little bit of eye candy back here. And we took 2 pounds off the rotating mass, as I said earlier. So if you like this video, go ahead and like, subscribe. If you enjoy the intuitive garage videos rather than me getting buck nasty out on the street, drag strip, and or the road course, which is where I just came from Barber Motorsports Park, please check in, subscribe, and the more comments, positive, hopefully, the better. So we will continue on this train of new content coming your way from me, 5 Up, along with collaborating with many other badasses. I'm sure you'll see me and 650 Eve doing stuff together. You'll see more collaboration work of modifications amongst all my other bikes with Manny from Moto Millions. And, I'm just here for a good time. I hope you are too. See ya.